Hi, this is Allie Wilbur. I'm going to be talking today about a paper that I used for my behavior change project entitled An Evaluation of the Components of a Social Stories Intervention Package. This study looked at the use of social stories in a classroom environment with two children diagnosed with PDD, NOS, as well as ADHD as a secondary diagnosis. And what they looked at was how effective were the social stories on their own compared to baseline, and then compared it against using social stories in conjunction with a DRO procedure. The author for this particular article is Iskander and Rosales. The research question is, are social stories effective on their own, or are they better off used with in conjunction with other interventions such as DRO? The dependent variable in this particular article there were two participants in this article. For one of them, it was off-task behavior and interrupting others. For another, it was interrupting others and getting out of his seat. The independent variable was, in one situation, was the social stories, and in the second situation was social stories plus differentiated reinforcement of other behaviors, where social praise was given in the absence of the target behaviors, which was interrupting others, and so on. So the inter-observer agreement for this was calculated on 34% of it's Ronald and Adam, 34% on Ronald's sessions, with an average of 86.5% inter-observer agreement, and on Adam's in 62% of his sessions, and was calculated at an average of 91% inter-observer agreement. Treatment fidelity was also conducted in a good amount of the sessions, 70.4% for Adams, and for Ronald it was 44% of his sessions, and those were both, the treatment fidelity was calculated at 100%. They were given a checklist of treatment criteria for each treatment. The results were that the social stories did come up with a significantly lower incidence of problem behavior. However, when implemented along with the DRO, it did show a greater impact on the dependent variables, lowering over time. Some of the limitations with this study were that they did use a frequency count for this particular study, where partial interval may have been a little bit more accurate, but it was easier for the teachers to use the frequency count. Also, there were some inconsistencies of classroom activities when the data was collected, and it really should have been collected over the same type of classroom activities over the entire sessions. The teacher behavior throughout the study was also not looked at, and so we cannot really say that the teacher behavior was consistent across all of the sessions. And a final liability is that the social story intervention may have caused carryover with the treatment effects with social story plus the DRO, and that's not something that they really looked at. So in future studies, that may be something to either do in a different order or in a different way, so that they can minimize treatment carryover. Thank you.